Hi, my name is Marcia, and recently I've been told that I'm toxic. Some of you who follow me on social media, primarily on Instagram, have probably seen some of the photos that I've posted there. And on almost every post I've made since I began my journey to, improving my health and well-being, I've used predominantly the same hashtags on most of them. Admittedly, when I first started my journey, I had actually never even heard about health at every size. Never heard that phrase before ever. This journey for me, it was a health-based approach so that I could improve my life. I had a lot of things that I was experiencing that I knew I needed to make a change. So I would like to talk today about health at every size. Like me, a lot of you have probably never heard that term. I've had a couple pictures I posted on Instagram that were side-by-side comparisons of me when I began the journey or in the early phases of my journey compared to recently. And I've tagged those photos as health at every size. And I have had a couple people who come over and tell me that I should not be using these hashtags because they are, that they don't embody anything surrounding the health at every size movement. And they're always telling me that I should read the book by Linda Bacon, Health at Every Size, or that I should go learn from ASDAH, which is the Association for Size, Diversity, and Health. Well, I'd rather watch a video or listen to something, so I did that. And I have also read Linda Bacon's book. But again, I found a video on YouTube. I'm going to put a link to it. The video is called HAES 2.0, Introducing the Revised Health at Every Size Principles. And these principles are still the same principles today. This video is from, I believe, 2014, when Paul Ferguson was the president of ASDAH, so the Association for Size, Diversity, and Health. And she goes into detail on exactly what all of the principles surrounding health at every size mean. So in this seminar from HAES about the new principles, the current principles for health at every size, they refer to some notes. I took 9 pages of notes on this video. I'm not going to go over everything I took down. I will put timestamps about the things I'm talking about and where Paul Ferguson is talking about them in this webinar, so that you guys can go listen or watch for yourself as well. At 14 minutes and 3 seconds, she refers to behavior and attitude changes should be appreciated and valued for how they contribute to health and well-being, not just to weight loss. And I completely agree. My entire journey has been centered around my mental focus, changes, improving my viewpoints on things surrounding my health. That's been my entire journey. Anybody who's watched any of my videos has seen the change in my mental attitude and everything, the behaviors I've been doing surrounding my goals to improve my health. I've also said from day one of my journey that this is not about weight loss, this is about improving my health. At 16 minutes and 40 seconds, she goes into discussion about the new principles and the fact that health at every size is about a holistic approach to health. I completely agree with that. That's exactly what I've been practicing in my journey, along with the assistance from my medical professionals that I've been using. Health is an ongoing process. It's not a goal or a destination. Again, I completely agree with that. There's nothing around whether your goal is focused on weight or not, or if it's just on health. It's always an ongoing process. You can't just lose lose weight and then stop what you are doing. It's an ongoing process because you have to make changes that you are comfortable with, that you're happy with, that you enjoy the foods you're eating, the movements you're doing, all the exercises and everything. You have to enjoy them in order to maintain that. And as our bodies age, our bodies change. So sometimes we need to make adjustments to our nutrition needs or our physical movements so that we can continue along a journey to health. At 19 minutes, they talk about health and that does not determine the value of an individual, and that we should focus on individual health needs. So, again, the things that I need for myself, for me to be healthy, is not going to be the same as even my girlfriend, her needs and what she needs to be healthy. So there's not going to be one nutrition plan that works for everybody. There's not going to be one set of movements or exercises that works for everybody. It's an individualized, and it should be based on the individual needs of the person. At the 20-minute mark in this webinar, I'm going to insert a clip so you can hear exactly what Fall Ferguson says when she's referring to health.
It doesn't mean that we don't all have some a drive to be healthy, because I think we all do. And I would support anyone's desire to feel better, to become more healthy. And, you know, as a health educator, I would work with them and encourage them to do whatever they wanted to do along those lines. But I would never judge someone who wasn't able to, or who didn't feel like that was something that was appropriate for them to do. It's really about what does an individual person need in order to promote health and well-being, as opposed to that this idea that we're sort of morally less than if we're not pursuing somebody else's definition of health.
Well, as you heard Fall say, it doesn't mean that we don't all have a drive to be healthy, because I think we all do. And I would support anyone's desire to feel better and become more healthy. And as a health educator, I would encourage them to do whatever they wanted to do along those lines. To me, that means that if I want to lose weight, then as a health educator, she would encourage that using the 5 principles surrounding this health model. So does that mean that people should not have a focus on intentional weight loss? I don't think she's saying that here. I think that she says, I mean, if you listen to the words that she specifically says, she said that she would encourage them to do whatever they want to do along those lines. So if they want to lose weight, she would encourage them to do that. At 23 minutes and 53 seconds, this is where Fall Ferguson begins to talk about the 5 principles of the Health at Every Size model. The first one begins at 24 minutes and 8 seconds, and this is weight inclusivity. She talks about the reframing that is necessary. Instead of focusing on weight, it's about focusing on health, which again, that's exactly what I've been doing throughout my entire journey. I've been focusing on my health surrounding my own medical and nutritional needs and everything, as you've seen in all of my previous videos with my doctors. At 26:07, and she's talking about weight versus health and reframing the principles around that. It's about movement for well-being, listening to your body cues, choosing a variety of nutritious foods that are appropriate for your health status, good sleep hygiene to promote health, and then also addressing emotional issues so that you can feel better about yourself. At 28 minutes and 38 seconds, she gets on to point number 2, which is health enhancement. And this is focused on the multi-dimensional approach to health, focusing on physical, economic, social, spiritual, emotional, and other needs. Which, again, if you watch any of my videos, this is exactly what I have been doing to focus on my health and the journey that I'm on to improve my overall health. 29 minutes and 40 seconds is number 3, which is respectful care. This is where it gets more into things that becomes more of a controversial side of health at every size. However, I think the way it's described in this webinar makes a lot of sense as far as acknowledging biases. I think anybody who judges someone based on a physical appearance, it actually says more about the person doing the judging than the person that they're judging, that they're making that judgment about. Principle number 3 also mentions that it's an ongoing process and not a state of being. Again, a lifelong learning process. It also, respectful care, also at 33 minutes, 55 seconds, really talks a lot about the intersectionality. Because when you're talking about weight and people's health, there's so many other factors involved with that. Race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status. These are all things that are addressed by the Health at Every Size model. And I agree that all of those do play a part and contribute to some of the biases that people might experience from certain professionals they may be seeing, stuff like that. At 35 minutes, principle number 4 is discussed, and this is eating for well-being. If you guys have seen any of my videos, you've seen everything I've been doing from the trips to the farmer's market, my apple picking, all the foods and stuff that I've been consuming, all 3 parts of the initial appointment with my nutritionist. Every single thing surrounding my journey has been focused around eating for well-being. So principle number 4 is focused on eating based on your hunger, satiety, nutritional needs. Now they also mention pleasure. This, I think, is one of the main things I don't agree with. I don't think food should be eaten for pleasure. I do think that nutritious foods can be extremely pleasurable. One of the things I am doing is some cooking videos too, where I'm going to be cooking meals surrounding some of the healthy or nutritious meals that you can make that for me are extremely pleasurable to eat, but my purpose of eating them is not for pleasure. Again, with the principle of eating for well-being, rather than a regular eating plan which focuses on weight control. Along with the Health at Every Size hashtag that I used on some of my Instagram photos, or most of my Instagram photos, I've also used Paleo Life, which I've had some people say that because I've used the term Paleo Life at the same time as using Health at Every Size, that I'm trying to promote diet culture or promote a specific diet which is centered around weight control, which is absolutely not true. Anybody who has watched my journey, watched any of my YouTube videos, knows that because of the health needs, myself and my girlfriend, we have already been through an entire process to learn what foods affect our bodies and how they affect our bodies. So again, our eating plan, so even when I say that we are eating a paleo meal plan, or that we're living a paleo lifestyle, that is not centered around controlling our weight. It is centered around our nutritional needs based on what we've learned about our own bodies and the foods that we've tested to see how they affect us and make us feel. At 37 minutes and 50 seconds, the video talks about the nutritional model should be left up to the practitioners, nutritionists, and dietitians to advise their clients what they deem appropriate and favoring a compassionate and individualized approach. Which, again, if you watched any part of my nutrition series, these are all things that I am practicing along with my medical care professionals so that I can improve my overall health. At 38 minutes and 38 seconds, principle number 5 is discussed, and this one is life enhancing movement. To allow people of all sizes to engage in physical movement to the degree that they choose. She goes on to say at 39 minutes and 59 seconds that as a health educator, there is no doubt in my mind that if you are able to move your body in a pleasurable and life-enhancing ways. So is she saying that people should not be exercising? Absolutely not. What she specifically says is that if you are physically able to move your body, then you should be moving it in a pleasurable and life-enhancing way. I enjoy going for walks, and I love water aerobics. At 41 minutes and 6 seconds, she specifically talks about avoid shoulding. And I think this applies to all of it, not just around exercise, but around anything. I don't think anybody should be, here we go, shoulding. I don't think people should be telling anyone the foods they should be eating, the medications or what they should be doing, the exercises they should be doing. We all have, again, I mentioned this earlier, we're all individual people. We all have individual concerns. So as long as you have spoken with your medical professionals that you trust to help you on this path, then those are the only ones that you should be listening to. If there's anybody else telling you what you should or should not be doing, and they're not one of your medical professionals, you don't have to listen to them. And I also think this has to do with posting on social media, making comments, negative comments surrounding somebody's journey. Everybody's journey is unique to them. So maybe you should not be telling other people what they should be doing as far as the hashtags that they use and stuff like that. At 42 minutes and 25 seconds, access, economics, and safety to food and exercise. I absolutely agree with this as well. There's, again, everybody's different and unique. We as humans should all have equal access to nutritious foods and the exercise that we find pleasurable. So at 43 minutes and 41 seconds, health is for everyone. That was the sentence that Fall Ferguson uses to summarize the entire webinar. She says, health is for everyone. She goes on to say that all of this should be open for conversation. So if I tag one of my photos on social media with the health at every size hashtag, and you come to my page telling me what I should or should not be doing, then you should be open for conversation surrounding what you had to say about my image. If you're going to come to my photo and comment on my photo, and then I have questions for you, just as Fall Ferguson says in this webinar, it's about having a conversation. And if you're not willing to do that or to answer my questions, then stay out of my comment section. As far as me not using the health at every size hashtag, I'm going to continue to use it on every photo that I see fit. My journey is with respect to the 5 principles of the Health at Every Size model, every single part of my journey is the epitome of this model. So please don't come and tell me that I'm not allowed to use a hashtag. We live in a free country. We don't practice censorship in any way. And you're welcome to block me on social media if you don't wish to see my images or have a conversation with me. I have no problems with that. But again, if you want to come to my image and comment on it, then be prepared to have a conversation about it, because that's exactly what the former president of ASDAH said is extremely important. The only way, I believe, to learn and grow is to have a conversation. There's about 15 minutes of question and answers on this webinar video. And at 48 minutes and 8 seconds, somebody asked, is it dangerous to tell people that they can be healthy at any size? Fall Ferguson, the former president of ASDAH, she talks for 2 minutes on this topic, and she definitely gets into the difference of being healthy at any size versus health at any size.
So Jenny's saying dangerous to tell someone they can be healthy at any size. That is actually, you're right, Jenny, that's a huge question that comes up all the time. And I would say to that, that it's really complicated. The idea of health at any size or health at every size is not the same thing as assuming that someone is healthy no matter what size they are. It's not about the size. It's always about looking, what is someone's health? How are they sort of coping with the day-to-day life? How are they, what are their physiological risk factors? What's their psychological state? Are they depressed? Are they not depressed? Are they, able to, perform activities of daily living, or are they not able to? And to address those issues, not to address it as a weight issue, but to address whatever the problem is that someone might have right there at a functional level. So I would say it's actually more dangerous to talk to somebody about their health problems in terms of weight, because what they're probably going to do is engage in unsafe dieting practices, and they're not necessarily going to actually address their health problems. They may even increase their health problems. So if you want to balance out what dangers are, again, I'm not a doctor, I don't give medical advice, and I would never presume to do that, but I would be very uncomfortable with anyone telling someone, don't pay any attention to, these health issues until you've lost your weight. I think that's a very dangerous thing to do.
If you listen to what she says specifically, she is referring to addressing people's physical needs. And I completely agree with that. That's exactly why I began my journey. There's many problems and things that I was facing physically that I was unable to do. And health-wise, my health was beginning to deteriorate. So at the end, she says that it's dangerous to not address health problems until a patient has lost weight. I began focusing on improving my health surrounding the problems I was facing before I ever started losing any weight. I scheduled my medical appointments, I got some blood work done, and my doctor and I had a conversation surrounding what needed to be done to focus on the health concerns I was facing right now. Not based on after me losing weight, it was about what I could do right now to address the medical concerns I was facing. So this is another thing I want to talk about surrounding health at every size. This has been referred to as a social justice movement. I've mentioned many times my girlfriend Ellen. I've never in my life self-identified as a lesbian. I love who I love, and regardless of gender, that's not a concern for me. It's the person and the qualities of the person that I fall in love with. I don't put myself in a box when it comes to my sexuality. Some of the people who have commented on my Instagram photos, they talk about oppression and stuff like that. And do we have people who judge us based on our appearance? Absolutely. I've experienced it in my own work. Just because of my size and how big my clothes have to be to cover my body, somebody referred to me as being frumpy. Don't confuse bullying with oppression. When it comes to rights that we have as humans, the obesity and sexuality are two completely different things. There were 1,324 legal rights that members of the LGBT community did not have because of laws, legal restrictions that we legally were not afforded these rights just because of sexuality. Do larger bodied people experience this? No, you're not legally discriminated against because of your size. So when you talk about oppression and discrimination, you're not being discriminated against because of your size. Are you being bullied? Yes. Is there a legal right surrounding these things? No, you're legally allowed to go to any restaurant you want. You're legally allowed to participate and do anything you want to do. The limitation surrounding that is not a legal right. And do I think that companies should all be forced to accommodate larger bodies? That's a whole other video. I'm not going to get into that right now because I think as somebody my size, I think I have some pretty valuable insight into that, and I really want to get in depth on that topic. But legal rights, there's no legal right that a fat person doesn't have that a thin person doesn't have. Do some people maybe have more privilege than other? Yeah, I guess so. I'm not really going to get into that. But there's not a legal discrimination against anybody because of the size of my body or your body or anybody else's body. This, I hope that this video answers some questions for some people. I hope that I brought some clarity to some of the people in the Health at Every Size social justice movement who claim that their intent is to empower people and to encourage people to pursue health. But that's not the experience I've had from them. Again, you're allowed to disagree. I have no problem with that. But if you come and comment on my images on Instagram or this video or whatever, I'm going to want to have a conversation. And before you tell me that it's not my job to educate you, you're right, it's not. But if you want to have a conversation and you want to be a social justice warrior, please know that you can't be a social justice warrior and fight for what you believe in if you're not willing to talk about it with other people who might be on the other side of the coin. So that's what I have to say about this topic. Please comment below. I'm willing to listen to anybody's side of it as long as you're willing to talk about it. Don't just post something nasty and then refuse to go in depth with me. Okay? So, I respect you. Please show me the same respect. And let's go on and let's all focus on improving our health. As long as it's something that you've had conversations with your medical professionals and it's working for you, good for you. Hooray, keep it up. Let's do this. We can all live our best life by focusing on the things that are working for us.